Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to explain a perfect knowledge on demand and supply. So, in this video, what we are going to learn that is first, what is the meaning of demand? What are the determinants of demand? And what exactly the law of demand? What are the main causes for demand curve sloping downwards? And what could be the elasticity of demand? What is its types and measurement of the elasticity of demand? And meaning of supply, law of supply, elasticity of supply, and equilibrium in different conditions. So, I am going one by one in detailed way. First and foremost, what exactly the demand? Demand for commodity refers to the quantity of the commodity that people are willing to purchase at specific price per unit of time. In other words, it also be defined as a desire backed by willingness and ability to pay for a particular product. Thus, demand for to be effective in three factors. First is desire to buy and ability to buy and willingness to buy. For example, if I wanted to purchase Mercedes Benz car, I am desired to buy, but I'm not in a position to buy because I'm not a my income is not sufficient to purchase the Mercedes Benz car. So that is not a demand for that particular product. First, what you have to do is first you should not just desire to buy. You should be in a position to buy. You should be able to buy. Means your purchasing power to buy. So ability to pay the specified price for that particular product and willingness to buy. So these three things, if any product is having, that product is called as a demand for that particular product. Again, I'm going to tell you: desire to buy, ability to buy, and willingness to pay also. Right? That is the three things you need to understand. Having said that, let me go for what are the main determinants of the demand. Right. First, income of the consumer. If the income of the consumer, a buyer's income is always determines his or purchasing capacity. Therefore, an important determinant of demand is income of the consumer. Obviously, if you increase your income, one can buy more goods. Rich consumers usually demand more and more goods than poor customers. Demand for luxuries and expensive goods is related to that income. If you have an income, you are in a position to buy the products. So the next one is the price of the substitutes. Right. So not just price of the product, even price of substitute also is determinants of the demand. And price of complementary product, substitutes, tea and coffee. Complementary products, cement and iron. See, these are the things. If it is a car and petrol, means price of the car increases, the demand of the petrol will also decrease. So what will happen in this complementary product? See, in the similar way, changes in policy. Right. If changes in government policies will also be the effect of determinants of the demand and taste and preferences of the consumer. Right. So, if your consumer taste preferences, demand for many goods depends on the person's tastes, habits, preferences, because demand for several products depend on the taste only. Just like ice cream, chocolates, beverages, and so on, depend on the individual taste. Demand for tea, any other matter, habitual things will also be the depend on the consumer's taste, habits, and preferences. The demand for that particular product will be determined. Having said that, let me also go for existing wealth of the consumer. How much the wealth is having the particular consumer depend on that is going to buy the product. Expectations regarding future price changes. In future, if the price is changing, consumers expectation about future changes in the prices given commodity also affect its demand. When he expects its price is fall in future, he will tend to buy less at present prevailing low price. Similarly, if he expects its price rise in the future, he will tend to buy more at present. So that is the expectation and special influence of somebody with friends or relatives, depend on that is going to purchase the product. Then the most important one I am going to explain you here today is law of demand. What exactly the law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship between quantity demanded of a commodity and its price. Other factors being constant means it is inversely related. In other words, higher the price, lower the demand, and vice versa. If other things remaining constant. Having said that, then I will go for the what is the demand curve implies. See here I am going to provide example of ice cream cone. See price and quantity demand. See how they are going to purchase here. If the price is 1 rupee, is going to purchase around 10 products like that. See the demand curve will be like this. See it is sloping downwards from left to right, so it is a sloping downwards, right? So having said that, let me go for the different assumptions, because all other things remaining constant only if the higher the price, lower the demand. If price increases, demand decreases. See have no change in the taste, habit and preference of the consumer. These are the main assumptions for the particular of law of demand. No change in income, no change in the price of other related goods, no expectation of future change, no change in population, no change in taxation, no introduction of any new product, will always these are the assumptions of the law of demand. Then exceptions. What are the main exceptions are there? So speculation. If speculation, that law of demand may not be work it out. So the main thing is and given goods means the goods which are rice, jowar, bajra, wheat, all these are things given goods. Even the price of that particular products increases, the demand may not decrease. So qualitative changes and price illusions and display of standard of living, branded goods. So brand depend on the luxurious goods, they are going to purchase more and more. See depend on the luxurious people, they are going to purchase branded products only. Display of standard of living, price illusions, all these are the exceptions of the law of demand. Then I'm moving on to the what is the individual demand. Individuals demand for the products and services in a given period of time is called individual demand. It is just for the individual, per person. Then market demand is some of the all the individuals in given period of time is known as the market demand. Individual, it is a person. Market, all the individuals are combined together is known in a given period of time. What could be the demand? That will be called as a market demand. Then changes in quantity demand. If this will be the a demand curve. If increases, the demand will decrease like that. This is the changing in the quantity demand. Changes in the quantity demand versus changes in the demand. See what is the changes quantity demand moving along with the demand curve caused by the change in the price of the product. The change in quantity demand will be there. See change in demand means a shift in demand curve either to the left or right, depend on the consumer taste, preferences, price of the product, all these determinants of the demand caused by change in the determinant other than the price. So these are the see change in demand. See if it is increase income, increasing demand. So obviously change will be the demand curve will be the increases. The demand curve will be the D1 and D2. When increase in income, it will be changing, increasing in the demand itself. Then these are the different parameters. Price, income, all these are the variables affect the quantity demand. It represents the movement along with the curve. If income increases, if the demand curve, price of related products if the demand curve, taste shifts the demand curve, expectations, the variable will be changing in the like that. Then having said that, what are the main causes of for downward slope of the demand curve. See, what are the main why why the demand curve will be sloping downwards? So the main reason is first is income effect. As a result of the fall in the price of the commodity, consumers' real income or purchasing power increases. Whenever there is an increase in the purchasing power, the real income includes the consumer to buy more of that commodity. If his income increases, instead of purchasing rice of 10 kgs, he is going to purchase of rice 20 kgs because income increase. That is the reason why the demand curve sloping downwards. Another one is substitution effect. When the price of commodity falls, it becomes relatively cheaper than other commodities because this induces the consumer to substitute the commodity whose price has fallen for other commodities which are now become relatively dearer. So the other thing, effect on the law of diminishing marginal utility. See, what is marginal utility? Additional utility for consuming additional unit is known as the marginal utility. Law of diminishing marginal utility curve implies the downward sloping curve that it is at the price of the good falls, more of it will be the bought. Is going to purchase more things. So, change in the number of consumers. When the price of commodity is relatively high, only few consumers can afford to buy it, and the price of the commodity less, more people are going to start buying it. So the that is the why the demand curve slopes downwards. The other thing I would like to mention here is elasticity of demand. What is elasticity of demand? Means what is the responsiveness of the demand to change in the price of that commodity is known as the elasticity of demand. It explains the definite relationship between changes in the demand and price of the commodity. See here, price of demand is measure how much quantity of demand of good responds to the change in price of that particular same good. Price elasticity, it is a percentage change in the quantity demand by percentage change in the price. Here, the price elasticity demand means what is the percentage change in the quantity demanded by the percentage change in the price. Then, moving on to the things, what are the main types of the elasticity of demand? Here, I am going to tell you the unit elasticity demand means the percentage change in the commodity, percentage change in the commodity and percentage of change in the price, both are same. So E is equal to 1. Whenever the elasticity of demand is 1, it will be called as a unit elasticity of demand. Then, if inelastic demand, here elasticity is less than unity, less than 1. So, obviously, the inelastic demand will be there. So, quantity demand does not respond strongly to the price changes, means price of elastic demand less than 1. Then elastic demand in the sense elasticity is greater than unity, greater than 1. So obviously quantity demanded responds strongly to the change in price, means price elasticity of demand is greater than 1. That is known as the elastic demand. Having said that, let me move on to the other things one by one. Is what are the types of elasticity of demand? Perfectly elastic, the elasticity of demand is infinite. Perfectly inelastic, it is 0. Unitary elastic, equal to 1. Relatively elastic, it is a greater than 1. Relatively inelastic, it is a less than 1. So I am going to give you one by one in a pictorial representation here. So the first one is if elasticity equal to 0, perfectly inelastic demand. So and increasing the price, and so the demand it won't change. So simple. The price elasticity less than 1, relatively inelastic. So what happens here is 25% increase in the price, but 10% only. Uh, I mean, increase the price, and 10% only decrease the price. Elasticity is less than 1, and elasticity equals to 1. So here it is a both are same. Here 25%, here also 25%. So equals to 1, unitary. Relatively elastic demand, elasticity demand is greater than 1. So here the price increases 25%, but here uh, decrease 50%. Elasticity is greater than 1. Demand changes is more. Perfectly elastic demand means the demand will be infinity. Means here the total elasticity equals infinite. The demand will be infinitely. It will be going up. So even a small change in the price. Then factors influencing the price elasticity of demand. One by one, I am going to tell you the availability and closeness of the substitutes. So the products which are having fewer close substitutes tend to have lower price elasticity than those having more substitute. In addition to that, proportion of income spent on that particular product will also be the influencing the elasticity of demand. And time period, demand is more elastic in the long run than the short run. And one more, uses of the product. If price elasticity of demand would be higher for those products which have a large number of uses. Then habit formation. Different products which are consumed due to the habit, like cigarettes and alcohol, are relatively inelastic since the consumers form a habit of consuming them. And if the good is necessity, it will also be another factors influencing the price elasticity of demand. Then importance. What is the main importance of the elasticity? They can determine the price. Whenever there is an inelastic demand, it should be sold at high prices in order to maximize the revenue. And price discrimination will also be the available because of elasticity demand is one very important variable for price discrimination. Then determination of rewards of factors of production will also be the factors having inelastic demand are rewarded more than factors that have relatively elastic demand. And government policies and taxation rules and exchange duties are totally based on the studies of elasticity of demand of different products. Goods having relatively elastic demand are taxed less than those goods are having relatively inelastic demand. Then, what are the main measurements? The first one is a percentage method, arc elasticity of demand, geometric method, and total revenue and total outlay or total expenditure method. Here, one by one. First is ratio method. As usual, the same thing will also be used as a price elasticity. Percentage change in quantity demand by percentage change in the price. Then, arc method. So, price elasticity demand is the quantity. What is the changes in the quantity by Q2 plus Q1 by 2, P2 minus P1 by P1 plus P2 by 2. So here, if the price of an ice cream cone increases from $2 to 220, how much it is? The amount you buy falls from 10 to 8 cones. Means the elastic demand will be, as per as the arc method, it will be the 2.32. Once we are inserting the values in the particular formula, we are going to get 2.32. So geometric method, lower segment and higher segment. Up to here it is a upper segment, up to here is a lower segment. So lower segment of the demand curve by upper segment of the demand curve will be the geometric method. So how much it is changing, depend on that they will calculate elasticity of demand. Then total outlay method. What do you mean by total outlay? Price and quantity. When the changes in the price, total outlay remains unchanged, then elasticity of demand for that particular product is 1. Change in the price, total outlay rises, then elastic demand is greater than 1, and it falls if it is a less than 1. So here you can see here 1200 and 1400. So EP, price elasticity demand, is greater than 1. Here 1200, 1200, 1200. So it is a price elasticity demand is equal to 1. If it is a less than 1, so 1200 and 1000, it is a less than 1. So it is the what is changing the thing will be that as per the total outlay method. Then income elasticity of demand. So in the similar way, income elasticity demand, percentage of change in the quantity of demand by percentage change in the income. If it is a price elasticity demand, and denominator will be the percentage change in the income, whereas income elasticity of demand, it is computed as the percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the income. Then moving on further, how computing income elasticity of demand is a similar, just now I explained in a formula. Here is percentage change in quantity demanded by percentage change in income. Then, what are the main types of goods when it comes to the income elasticity? First is a normal goods. income elasticity is a positive. Inferior goods income elasticity is a negative. Higher income raises the quantity demand for normal goods but lowers the quantity demand for inferior goods. Inferior goods like jawar, bajra, income elasticity is negative. If price of uh, that products are increases, but if income increases, we are reducing the purchase inferior goods here. Then, having said that, then one more um, type of elasticity of demand is a cross elasticity of demand. Here, the percentage change in the quantity of demand of X by percentage change in the quantity of demand, w- percentage change in the price of the product Y. Here, the different products, product X and product Y. Normally, these are the different. What will happen? It's going to be positive substitute or negative complements. Like that, the cross select demand will be there. Then, coming back to the supply. What do you mean by supply? Supply refers to the quantities of a good or service that the seller is willing and able to provide at a price at a given point of time. How much you are going to supply, that is the seller is willing to and able to provide at price, that is a supply. So price determinates as usual, the same thing will also be applicable as demand, it's also applicable for the supply. Price of the commodity, cost of production, what is the technology based, and we can also see the number of firms always will be the there. And government policies. Then going back to the law of supply, here law of supply means we can say that the law of supply states that other products remaining constant, higher the price, greater the quantity supplied and lower the price. See, this is the thing about the law of supply. And the supply curve will be like this. So here the supply curve will be like this, upward. It is showing upward. Then market supply, the total sum of all individual supplies for all sellers is particular good or service is a market supply. It is individual supply cost summarized horizontal to obtain the market supply curve. See, this is the quantity change in quantity supplied. The curve will be like this. A rise in the price of ice cream cones result in the movement along the supply curve will be like this. So increases. Changes in the supply, increase in the supply, and decrease in the supply. Another side and increase in supply. This side. What do we mean by elasticity of supply? It refers to the percentage change in quantity supplied of a product due to percentage change in its price. So here, the similar types of supply elasticity is equal to infinity, perfectly elastic, similar nature as demand, more than one but less than infinity, relatively elastic, equal to one unitary, less than one relatively inelastic, equals to zero is perfectly inelastic supply. Then supply and demand go together, that will be called as a equilibrium, where the situation in which the price has reached the level where the quantity supplied equals to the quantity demand. See here, the equilibrium, the graphical representation will be like this, the pictorial representation, the image will be there like this, the demand sloping downwards, supply upwards, where it reaches this price is known as the equilibrium price, and the quantity of that particular is known as the equilibrium quantity. Here equilibrium price means the price that balances quantity supplied and quantity demand where it is intersect each other, whereas equilibrium quantity, the quantity supplied and the quantity demand at the equilibrium price. In the graph we have shown it is the quantity at which the supply and demand curves intersect each other. Then equilibrium surplus, if price increases, equilibrium price, then quantity supplied increases greater than the quantity demand. So excess supply, shortage supply, we are going to explain in the graphical representation here. Here it is a excess supply. So this is excess demand. So depend on that, we are going to decide where to stop, when to stop. Here shortage. Increase or decreasing the demand. If demand rises, demand curve shifts to the right. Both price and quantity increases. If demand falls, the demand curve shifts to the left. Both price and quantity false. Here I have given the first initial equilibrium will be like this, then hot weather increase the demand for an ice cream, so it is increased, the new equilibrium will be like this. Here the supply is constant, the demand increases to this because of weather changes, ice creams are demand is increasing, so new equilibrium like this. So this is called increase in demand affects the equilibrium. So increase the supply or decrease the supply, how it affects the equilibrium. Here I am going to show here. Here demand is constant, because of an earthquake. The supply of ice cream has been reduced. So what happens here? New equilibrium will be like this. So what is the simultaneous shift of demand and supply? Both are uh, doing like this, means supply and demands. The new equilibrium will be like this, where the supply and demand curve equal. This is the first one, the blue one, and this one, the gray one. This one is supply and demand curves. So new equilibrium will be like this. So these are the and shifts, both supply and demand shifts, how it will be there for equilibrium and different conditions. If it is shift this one and that one, means obviously it will be the both supply and demand will be the there. So these are the different things because of the